Hi, this is Pixelf Studio. Today we're going to take apart a logo animation like this. Cyberus Technologies is a cybersecurity company. That means that the animation should be credible, technological, modern, and bold. As we can see, we have a logo in the form of a Cyberus. It's a monstrous multi-headed dog that guards the entrance to the underworld. This is basically the personification of security, and we see the shield icon in the background. In order to combine all of these elements and ideas, we came up with this animation. We start with a lock that closes, and the shield on this lock repeats the shield from the logo. So we keep the style of the logo. The lock itself closes and activates these interfaces. And we also see the silhouette of this shield in the background. These lines on the left and right look very similar, but they're actually asymmetrical. This is done to diversify the animation. After the lines complete their animation, they take their position, and the lock disappears smoothly. The next step is that these lines draw the Cyberus. You're gonna have to sweat a little bit to do that animation. As we can see, we have a lot of layers here. But it's worth it. Let's take a look at the structure. The lock itself is shaped like the shield itself. Before it closes, it has a preparation for action. First it opens up even wider and then it slams shut. The appearance of these lines is quite fast to show speed and confidence. The top of the lock is trimmed with a mask. The mask itself simply follows the shape of this lock. And here we used alpha matte. To create a similar glow around the shield, we used the optical glow from Red Giant. But you can use a regular glow as well. You can change the glow settings based on alpha channel. Change the threshold and increase the radius. Then play with the intensity. The appearance of this glowing shield is very abrupt without any animation. And the disappearance is done by animating the opacity parameter and its such keys on the shield itself. We just frame by frame put certain keys on the opacity. You can use this technique on different projects. These lines are animated with trim path. There's a small feature here. In order for these lines to replicate the shape of the Cyberus, we need to split them. When the lines reach their final point, we trim them and draw a new path for them, which ends up repeating the shape of this Cyberus. So that's what we did with each line on the left and right. We also added more of these thin lines for a change. It makes the animation even more interesting. All these lines come to the main shapes. These are the heads and the eyes of the Cyberus. Here and here. The Cyberus itself is represented as Illustrator files, with each part of it divided into a specific logical line. We can see that here. With this separation of layers, we can animate each layer separately. Most of the lines are animated with shapes using track matte. We draw a similar shape on top. We animated with trim and apply this parameter. Also in each of these animations, we use the graph editor. The final movement in this animation was to land this shield. Here we're using motion morphing. Since we have the shield here represented in one piece in the final on the logo itself, it's cropped with the shape of this Cyberus. And showing a cropped shield like this would not be very appropriate. During the transformation, we have inertia on the movement. The Cyberus itself, along with the shield, goes down a little bit lower. This is necessary to maintain momentum. And also during the impact, we've drawn this shape, which is scaled by scale. The text animation here is also realized using the opacity parameter and these keys, where the last value is 100%. Here we have 25, 75, and 0. We animated the line under this text using shapes. And if you look at the offset on is a little bit non-uniform. This offset is done specifically by the movement of the logo from right to left, based on the velocities in Graph Editor. We also added a glare like this at the end of the animation. Repeated the shape of this logo using shapes. And animated a simple mask like this. To add more intensity during the closing of this lock and when the shield lands on the Cyberus. We used the optical blow effect as well as the sapphire shake effect. We use plugins for convenience. All of these effects can be repeated manually using the standard After Effects tools. For example, using the expression wiggle and linking to the slider controls. And the optical blow effect can be replaced with a regular glow. Plugins just speed up the process. And to understand how they work, you need to use the standard tools and then use whatever you find interesting. There's one small detail at the beginning. It's the outline of this lock in the background that merges with the main shape when it closes. A small detail like that adds volume while keeping the animation clean and professional. We added all the necessary sounds and the logo animation came out like this. Thanks for watching.